How's everyone doing? It's a beautiful day in the neighbor pool. A beautiful day to be Deadpool. It's story time. Story time. We got any fans of Mr. Rogers out there today? Wow, quite a few. I'm a pretty big fan of Captain America myself. Are you all ready for story time? Well, that's good to hear because I certainly have a story to tell. Gosh, I love to talk. Today's story is a beloved bedtime classic, mashed up with a very profitable licensing agreement. You guessed it, it's Cinderpool. You can cheer for that if you'd like. Wow, that was so genuine and unprompted, thank you. Let me just get out my little 4K reading glasses that I just stole from someone's grandmother in the parking lot. Now I can see all of your beautiful, shining, shimmering, splendid faces. Very good. Well, that doesn't work. It's not like we have a Disney budget here or anything. You must be related to the Pixar lamp, aren't you, little guy? Look at these adorable pictures, by the way. Look how cute Dogpool is. Thank you so much for saying, oh, I scribbled all of these myself. I know, I'm no Robert Liefeld, but at least I know how to draw feet, am I right? Let's get started, shall we? Once upon a time. You know what? It just feels wrong when I'm doing it with myself. Why don't we all say it together, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Once upon a time. See, wasn't that so much more fun and interactive when we're all in this together? For those of you that didn't participate, kindly get your heads in the game. Sorry about that. I don't know what came over me. Anyway, upon that time, once, Cinderpool lived in a big, fancy mansion with his very shiny-headed step-professor and a bunch of hideous step-mutants. The biggest one, Colossus, was always making up stupid rules that no one cared about. Like, please stop labeling other people's food in the fridge with your own initials. And for the love of Feige, stop Donald ducking around the house and put some trousers on. Now, I never understood that rule either. I was just called that Winnie the Poohing it personally, but that's a story for another day. The other main step mutant, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, oh, such a cool name. She was always just texting and rolling her eyes. They were both super jealous because Cinderpool had a much, and I do mean much, larger fan base. They don't call this story time with Colossus now, do they? One day, an expendable non-union extra came running across the mansion grounds, screaming. King Thanos was planning the biggest battle of Phase 3. The last truly relevant phase, as we all know. Oh, Cinderpool desperately wanted to go to this big and relevant battle, but Colossus said, no, too dangerous. Cinderpool don't know how to be part of team. And then Colossus ripped up Cinderpool's nicest costume before Negasonic Teenage Warhead, again, such a cool name, made it explode into a million pieces with her mind powers. And then popped her gum. Oh, so Gen Z. On fleek. Sigma. No, Cap. Oh, Cinderpool felt very bummed and felt very vulnerable and exposed. Minus 100,000 aura, as Negasonic would say. Well, now that Cinderpool had negative skibbity Ohio Riz, he skipped majestically onto the mansion grounds, stumbling for dramatic effect. Oh, hello there, camera. When suddenly, a big, strange, sparkly circle appeared. And from out of that big, strange, sparkly circle walked out Cinderpool's very hairy god mutant, Wolverine! Oh, come on, Loki Bear. You have to actually step through the big, strange, sparkly circle. Otherwise, the poor audience isn't even going to know that you're here yet.
You call me?
Loki Bear? Mr. Loki Bear?
Just stop. Move.
Look, everyone, it's Wolverine! Wow, they had no idea that you were here until you committed to the bit and walked through that sparkly circle. Speaking of committing to the bit, wait a darn second here. Where is your matching cardigan, Wolvie? I made you a beautiful, demure matching cardigan.
That's right.
Wow, that was not very mindful of you at all. Now you just look like a bottle of mustard with abs.
Don't look at me.
Okay, fine, we'll just continue. Spicy mustard, jeez. Oh, very hairy God mutant Wolverine. I desperately want to go to this big battle, but my mean step-mutants vaporize my costume. Growled Wolverine lovingly. I need a new costume. I have to go to a very relevant battle.
Just get another costume then. And stop writing me into these stories.
Okay. Well, after that very sage and somewhat Australian advice, Cinderpool headed off to the wardrobe department to get a freshly laundered costume, and then went to the big battle. Cinderpool missed most of it, though, because he stopped for some delicious chimichangas along the way. You know, priorities, right? But rest assured, when Cinderpool got there, the Avengers were still winning. Captain America looked so cool and so ruggedly handsome in those pants. Oh, I love Mr. Rogers. And meanwhile, Cinderpool's very hairy God mutant Wolverine was...
I'm going to Pims.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Test Kitchen. That checks out. Everyone give it up for Loki Bear. I hate to see you go, buddy. You know, he doesn't like this story that much because Disney didn't have the rights to him back then. We're glad we have you now. We're glad we have you now, though. You're such a majestic cash cow, my chum. We're very glad to have you. Oh, now I'm in the mood for mustard. Anyway, as the aliens were finally fleeing away in defeat, Cinderpool saw something on the steps of one of the spaceships. It was a single glove. And a high five for a child. There you go. You're welcome for the core memory, little boy. Oh, this glove was so fancy, big and gold with beautiful jewels. I think there were 6 of them. Not that that's really relevant information. I wonder who this fits, thought Cinderpool, before trying it on. After some clicking, whizzing, and whirring, it adjusted right to Cinderpool's arm. Then, out of nowhere, Iron Man came flying in out of left field, screaming, "Hey, take that off, you beautiful, majestic stallion of a mutant. That glove is mine, all right? This is my sacrifice to make. I really don't want to be Iron Man until I'm 90. In fact, I would rather be doomed than be Iron Man again. Doomed!" Trust me, I'm just as confused as you guys are. And then other, much less relevant Avengers came running in too, saying things like, "Please put that down, that's not a toy, whatever you do, do not snap." So obviously Cinderpool snapped. Oh, Cinderpool snapped a bunch! Both physically and mentally, mind you. And then the weirdest thing happened. It was probably unrelated to Cinderpool's actions, but half of everyone kept disappearing, and then reappearing, and then disappearing again. So many people were crying. Tony said, "I love you," like 3,000 times, which is a little mushy, to be honest with you. But eventually, everyone came back. Well, everyone except for those that text, call, and talk during the movie theater experience. We didn't want any of them back. No, that's none of y'all, though. But everyone else did. But then suddenly, the Avengers tackled poor little Cinderpool, ripped off his new favorite glove. And when they went on to remake the movie, of course, they had to CGI Tony's boring face onto Cinderpool's majestic body. And it went on to become the most profitable film of the Feige cinematic universe. The FCU, as I like to call it. I know, I'm still workshopping that acronym. I feel like there's just one too many letters, don't you? Anyway, everything honestly worked out for little old Cinderpool. Because Cinderpool went on to start his own, even more successful franchise, yeah! That's right! Who's relevant now? It was so successful, in fact, that Cinderpool was eventually invited to be part of the Avengers Endgame 2. Electric Boogaloo. In theaters at some unannounced point. Hello there, child. I hear you. Oh, it's a little Captain America back there. How you doing, Mr. Rogers? You're a lot tinier than I remember. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming to another illustrious story time with your new favorite Disney princess, Deadpool. Bye, camera. Goodbye, child. You guys can high five too. There you go. There you go. Bye. Bye, my boy.